All right, I think we are good to get started here shortly. So just some quick housekeeping items. For those of you that maybe just recently walked in, we're holding a raffle. So if you haven't picked up a raffle ticket yet, grab one on your way out. The raffle is going to be held at 2 p.m. by the Retool booth in the Data Integrations Gallery. So stop by our Retool booth after the session later today for your chance to win a prize. So let's actually go ahead and start the presentation here. Retooling intelligence. So a lot of you today are here because you want to learn about AI agents. You want to learn about how you can combine them with Databricks and how you can actually help out yourself and your business over time. So let's actually go ahead and describe why Retool and Databricks together. Now, normally I would ask the question in the audience, like how many are data engineers, data scientists, but I don't get a lot of feedback here, so please raise your hand. Are people in the audience data engineers, data analysts, data scientists, Databricks administrators? All right, we got around half the crew here. So what is Retool? For those that actually don't know, Retool is a software development platform to deliver enterprise applications on top of Databricks data and any data source for that matter, at a fraction of the cost and effort. And there's a lot of factors that go into cost and effort for that. But at the end of the day, we're able to rapidly build and deploy applications within hours and days instead of weeks, months, and quarters. So, the problem, what is the problem that we're experiencing today with our data? Really, it comes to a matter of team synchronization, right? Yourselves that are working in the Databricks world, there's a lot of teams building great models but struggle to make them usable by business users. And that struggle is because you can't connect with perhaps software developers, you don't have the right tools, the right resources in order to actually bring that data to life in the form of applications, insights, and action. And operations team, they want to act on these insights, like for example, approving a loan, reviewing prediction anomalies, but they can't use notebooks or raw SQL. And then front-end teams need to build custom UIs for every internal tool, right? What if there was a way to actually standardize, templatize those UIs on top of your data in a very governed and secure way? So the solution here with Retool, what we provide, is you can actually do fast internal development, right? You'll actually be able to build AI apps with front ends and workflows, all in a secure, governed way. So for those that don't know, with Retool, we have over 60 native data source connectors, one of them being Databricks. And Databricks, you can actually connect securely using OAuth authentication into our platform. And once it's actually connected, you're ready to start building web apps in a drag and drop way, workflows with our workflow canvas editor, and what you're all here for today is actually AI agents. So I'm not going to bore you with too many slides today. This presentation will be somewhat 60% slides, 40% demo near the end, so stick around and you'll get to see agents in action. So what are some of the use cases that you can do with AI agents? You can actually create decisioning applications to reason and take action, right? So that's the key here. You want to reason and act. That means AI agents are basically reactive applications. And now traditionally, up until a few years ago, we were perhaps limited with simple LLM models where you couldn't reason or the level of hallucination was actually too great and too high. But with Retool, what you'll see soon is we're actually able to provide our agents with tools, specifically deterministic tools, to help these undeterministic agents, give them a guardrail and make accurate decisions 99.9% of the time. So what are some of the other things that you can do in Retool beyond just agents? Making inventory and forecasting tools, data quality dashboards, ML ops interfaces. I'm sure many of you in your current roles have wanted to develop an application or wanted help to get an application on top of your Databricks data, but you just didn't have the resources, don't have the development team, don't have the time, you got other priorities, and there's so many applications that have not been created as a result that could have helped your enterprise and helped your organization. So agents, what are they? Let's actually take a bit of a dive, an education on what an agent actually is, so you can actually really understand how you can apply agents in your organization and specifically tying it with Databricks. So at its core, an agent actually leverages an LLM model to actually accomplish reasoning in an open-ended, multi-step process. The open-ended part is key because it actually allows an agent to loop through a set of actions and tasks until it determines whether it's actually completed it or not. Now, traditionally, this has actually been a challenge in the industry for a lot of agent and agent builders that are out there today because of things like hallucinations and undeterministic outcomes. So there had to be a better way to actually build an agent, design an agent on top of your data, but provide them with guardrail tooling to help accomplish the task that it actually needs to do. So, and the other kind of key layer here is how can we actually all do this in a secure and governed way? So we need a platform that can actually tie to our data sources with SSO, with RBAC, all of the security and governance controls that are expected for any large enterprise, even SMB and mid-market, to be very frank. And then from there, once you have an agent deployed, the agents will actually decide when the job is completed, and they'll decide when to actually terminate. So what can you actually do with agents on top of your data, right? There's thousands of manual processes that are out there. Things like expenses, reports, scheduling, provisioning, IT access requests, many of which that core underlying data resides in Databricks today, and it just needs to be unleashed and unlocked for your agents to make decisions on that data. But really, machines are only a part of the process, right? At the bottom there, you'll see that for the most part, maybe we can achieve a model where we get 80% agent tasks completed by agents only. And then 20% require some sort of human in the loop, some sort of human layer for approval. And depending on the actual task at hand, that could be 95/5, 90/10, depends on how you tune your agent and what you're actually expecting it to complete. So this quote over here, 92% of companies are investing in AI, but only 1% describe AI implementations as mature. And that was from McKinsey earlier this year. So, if you read between the lines, what that actually tells you, there's a lot of investment in underlying AI infrastructure, whether it's LLM models, whether it's staff, whether it's resources. But in terms of the actual results, the output, the ROI, it's not there yet, or it's getting there. We're in that inflection point right now, and you can argue that 2025 is the year of the agents, and 2026 and 2027 will be even more complex agents going forward. So what are some of the more expanded use cases, right? For classification and triage resolution, you can create an inbound SDR agent. You can do support IT ticket resolution. You can create a data analysis agent for autonomous assistance and task automation. Really, at the end of the day, if you're provided with a platform and tooling to actually unlock your data that resides in Databricks, you yourselves, even in your current roles today, would be able to create applications on top of your data using Retool agents. So the first step for any Retool agent is to first select your actual LLM model. And really, there's two distribution types that we offer. You can choose one of the Retool managed models. We have dozens of them available. But there's a good chance in your organization you already have an existing relationship with a model vendor, or perhaps you even have your own custom models available internally. So you can add your own key and bring your own key environment. That way you can leverage investments that you've already made. Now let's actually build a Databricks AI agent on top of Retool. So here are the key steps that you need to do. And there's only 4. There's configure, evaluate, deploy, and observe. Really, at the very first step is once you actually connect Databricks as a data source into the Retool platform, you'll be able to configure agents and add Databricks as an actual tool to your AI agent so that as it reasons through the task that's at hand, it will see Databricks as an available tool at its disposal to get data, get those insights, and create actions and tasks on top of it. Next, you'll have to evaluate. You want to know what the expected behavior is. So as part of our actual agent platform, we do provide an ability to upload data sets and evaluate so you can actually see what an agent is actually expected to do and train your agents over time and edit prompts to make sure that you're getting the results that you're actually expected. And then deploy. This is the coolest part, in my opinion. With the Retool platform, you can actually deploy agents as an AI chatbot within your web applications. You can invoke them through an email trigger, so you can email your actual agents, or you can call them through a webhook as a programmatic process. Instead of being human to machine, it can be machine to machine using our Retool workflows editor. So many ways to actually trigger an agent, and really just depending on what your use case is and whether it needs to be scheduled or triggered on demand, will be able to accommodate for that. And then finally, the performance. No agent platform will be good without a good performance and observability layer. The reason for that is you want to see how your models stack up against different tasks. You want to see how many tokens are being consumed. You want to see what the actual running cost is for these tasks that these agents are actually accomplishing. All right, so the build process. We're going to go through this a little quickly. So first, in the Retool platform, you would start by creating an agent. There's a bunch of templates and providers available for you, or you can start from scratch. In this kind of example, we're actually creating like a support assistant agent, where we're actually going to give it a set of instructions. We're going to choose the underlying model. And the next thing that we actually have to do is select a tool. From there, you need to actually arm this agent with the available tools that we have out of the box, or create our own custom tool. So you'll see some examples here, like being able to get calendar events, create documents, execute code, search the web, right? So very quickly, you can combine these tools with your data that you have with Databricks. And these are the actual management aspects of it, where you can see the total cost, tokens, runtime, and how it evaluates based on the data sets that you upload into the platform. So with a few minutes remaining, I'm actually going to go ahead and play the demo and describe it for you, so you can actually see it really in action to get an idea of what you can actually do with your underlying Databricks data. All right, let's make sure we're playing. Perfect. So what we're seeing here is we're actually seeing an agent being configured, and we're going to actually provide it with some tools, right? So I'm going to select the Google tools. We're going to access the Databricks tool. So how we're actually going to configure the Databricks tool is we're going to go into the function logic, and we're actually going to connect into our Databricks sandbox environment. So from here, you can see we have a simple select star from our actual account data. Now that we've actually armed this account info tool, let's actually go to a hypothetical customer account dashboard. Here we see things like contracts, industry types, dates, et cetera, right? But what if I actually wanted to get some information, get some insights from this data that's actually being surfaced through Databricks? So from here, what we can do is we can actually go ahead and open up our Ask AI agent. Now, what you're seeing here is basically an application that was built using our web app builder. And here you actually have the agent chat component. And we're actually going to invoke that agent that we just configured in the previous screen. So what we're doing now is let's actually ask the agent, can you tell me how many industries we have with our accounts? So now what the agent's going to do is it's actually going to think, what set of tools do I actually have available at my disposal to actually accomplish this task? So you can see, even within the chat, we're showing the reasoning output of the underlying agent. So it gives you kind of live feedback where you can kind of troubleshoot in real time, so you know, in case if it does fail, you know where to go. But it gives you kind of that feedback as to the steps that it's actually occurring. So now we can see it's using the account data agent, and it's using that specific tool that we saw here that will invoke the Databricks query. So right now it's thinking, and as it's thinking, really this will depend on what kind of model you actually choose as your underlying LLM reasoning model. Whether it's a quick one and it's, let's say, cost effective, or whether it's actually maybe more expensive, but very, very detailed and deep. So you'll have to kind of balance both performance and cost. So you can see this agent really went through our Databricks data set that we had, really classified all of the different types of accounts that we have. And now this is great. Let's actually see if we can put this into a doc, and let's see if we can actually get the link. But we want to make sure that we want to prepare this as an executive summary to my VP. So let's actually task that agent. So now, if you think about this, we actually have a tool where we're surfacing data from Databricks, but now, and with that data, we're actually able to get insights, and very shortly, we're actually going to be able to perform actions on those insights. So as it's thinking, it's going to, create a new Google Doc. It has to create a new Google Doc, that's great. And now, shortly after, it's going to have to update it with a VP executive summary. So we'll give that a few more seconds. And as it's thinking, it will now create this doc and provide us the link here shortly. All right. And now it's updating the doc. All right, now we have our new doc. So let's actually go ahead and open it in a new tab just to validate it. Great, now our AI agent using that underlying Databricks data has actually given us the insights in terms of the percentage distribution, the key findings, et cetera. All right, now that I have a doc, it's quite useless without actually performing some sort of actions on it. So let's actually schedule a meeting with my VP for open time slots that I have next week. So now I'm just gonna ask the agent, because we saw earlier that we gave it a tool to be able to look at calendar invites, open slots, schedule meetings. So let's actually go ahead and do that right now. And then after a few seconds, it's gonna determine the tool that it needs to use, in this case, using the Google Calendar tool. And then we'll see it actually from there create the meeting slot invite. Now, with this one, this particular agent is being powered by Claude Opus 4. So for those of you in the software development space, quite a heavyweight reasoning model. I could have used a quicker and easier model for this, just to kind of balance performance and speed. But I want to make sure that I actually have the most accurate data as it was surfacing it from Databricks. So we can see the actual steps that it's taking, and we see that it actually, from here, scheduled a new meeting on Thursday, June 19th, 2025, Pacific time. So let's make sure, there it is. And you can see it's scheduled with my VP, Francisco. It gave us the document link, and it gave us a brief little summary as to what to expect for this particular meeting. So this was an end-to-end process that was actually triggered by a human, by me, by simply chatting and prompting with the agent itself. As you can imagine, we can have this even more automated as well into an actual workflow. So the key takeaway here is that with Retool, we provide you the actual tools that you need to build these agents, get the insights from your data, and perform actions on top of it. So with that, I do want to thank everyone that's been actually in the crowd today. We are hosting a raffle at 2 p.m. by the Retool booth in the Data Integrations Gallery. So if you haven't picked up a raffle ticket, pick one up on your way out with Shireen and Priti, and we'll see you at the booth at 2. I'll stick around here for any kind of questions, for any kind of Q&A. But with that, it's the end of the conference. I want to thank you for showing up here after lunch. I hope this was a good use of your time, and thank you very much for your time here.